Welcome to another episode of Garrenteed News. I'm your host, Garrett Sims. It is July 13th when you guys are watching this. I know it's Thursday. Garrenteed News is supposed to come out on Wednesday. I do apologize for that. I usually record on Sundays. And if you're from Indianapolis and you know, I don't know anything about anything, you probably can realize what made me busy on Sunday to where I couldn't record. So we had to push everything back a day, but Garrenteed News is still going to come every week. I got to figure out a new way to say that. Garrenteed News is going to premiere every week, pause. But we'll get into my Sunday and my weekend a little bit more later in the episode. But, yeah, Thursday instead of Wednesday, we'll see how this goes. Let's start off with our first story and get right into it. I don't think that deserves a pause, but it could. So with this weekend, it's my first time going out since I really started Garrenteed News. So it's my first time getting feedback from people about the show in public. Now, I will say I appreciate all the compliments. I really do. But the first thing with that is if there's anything you ever see with Garrenteed News where you're like, he's just wrong, or you disagree, or you want to say something or debate with me about it, that's what I like the most, because I just like to debate and I like to argue with people if I'm being honest. And one of the things that came up is every time I speak about with the NBA, I say I'm not a basketball aficionado, and I say I don't know much about the sport. And I say that because I feel like with Garrenteed News, if I'm going to say my opinion or say something that could be wrong, I need to let you guys know that, hey, maybe I am not 100% knowledgeable about this, but I'm still going to tell what I think. So that's why I say that every time before I talk about the NBA. But the reason I'm not a basketball aficionado is because I never really played basketball that much. And if I'm going to watch a sport that I never played, I'm going to be watching it strictly for enjoyability. And by this is what I mean. NFL, for example. Garrett's football show, I had a whole football show. I came and talked and did NFL analysis every week. I'm doing season 2 of Garrett's football show because I love NFL football and I love talking about it. I never played football, but the entertainment to me of watching it, I could just sit down and watch an NFL game and be entertained, and that's why I'm able to speak the way I am about football. And this is why I say the NBA regular season is so much worse than the regular season NFL games. And I stand on that no matter how many people I argue with, because the effort in the regular season of an NBA from night to night is not there. I don't know if it's because it's 82 games. I don't know if it's because they know, hey, we just got to get to the playoffs. And then from there, it's just hooping, and home court matters, but not the way it does in other sports. I don't know what it is. But if you're just taking a regular season NBA game and you have to sit and watch through the whole thing, or I have to sit and watch a whole regular season NFL, just random game on a Sunday, I'm going to choose the NFL game because I'm going to get more effort. They're going to try more. Now, if you want to start talking about the playoffs and things like that, all right, that's a whole other conversation because I watched the NBA playoffs. I can speak about the NBA playoffs for most years of my life in the last 4 or 5 years easily because it's entertaining. The effort is there. If unless you're really injured, there's none of that load management. They're playing. It's the playoffs. In the playoffs in any sport is going to be entertaining, but the regular season in all sports aren't the same. And NFL, from week to week, regular season game to random regular season game, you're going to get a game of effort and entertainment. And to me, just a more enjoyable watch. If you're going to be watching a regular season NBA game, if you're a basketball player, or you just loved basketball, or you were on your middle school basketball team and you, whatever. I know the popularity of basketball, you're going to think I'm crazy right now, but just be real with yourselves for a second and just sit. I have to sit and watch. Well, people who play basketball and live the sport obviously you're gonna love to watch basketball from a enjoyment standpoint, but for a love of the game standpoint. I used to play soccer. I love watching soccer games because I can watch it as a fan, but as a former player, I have a respect for it. So you're gonna always have that. But just the regular person that's just watching sports that isn't have a love for the game like a in their heart. The regular season NFL is better than the regular season NBA, and that's why I'm not a basketball aficionado, and that's why I say that. And if you don't agree, you probably love basketball. You're probably, I don't know, or you probably love basketball, or you probably hate football, one of the two. But I think the objective watcher, I have to put them in the middle of the TV for a full game. You're going to have more fun watching NFL, personally. Now, because I have Garrenteed News and because I have Garrett's football show and I got to do all media and I'm going to come with sports all the time, pause again, I'm gonna start watching NBA regular season. I've been watching a little bit of the summer league. Like I'm gonna learn about it because it makes sense to. But for all the people who are wondering why I say that all the time, that's why. Let's move on into our next story. All right, for our second story, we're gonna do something that's also fun. I mean, I was looking at the last couple of episodes of Guaranteed News, and I just thought it's been too many serious stories, and sometimes you need the serious stories. But for this episode, I'm gonna just talk about things that are all entertainment, mostly fun. So, and the next Friday, we're going to have two of the biggest movie releases of the year. And I do say two, but I'm going to talk about one of them more. So, on July 21st, we're going to get Oppenheimer and the Barbie movie. I'm going to talk about Oppenheimer first, mostly. I cannot be more excited for this movie. Going to the theaters now, it's not fun. And I love movies, and I love going to movie theaters to watch movies for the first time because there's no experience like it. Every movie now, Marvel is trash now. Any Marvel fan knows I don't know what they did, but they just fell off completely. Every movie now is a remake or it is like a money grab. It doesn't I hate to sound like a film bro or like corny about films, but there's no like new fresh movies being put out that are major blockbuster movies getting a lot of money and studio push. Of course, with like all art, you can say there's not like good, interesting, and unique stories that are coming out in movies, like indie movies I've never heard of course. But I'm just saying, as far as like big major brand studio movies, we don't get those anymore. And Oppenheimer is going to be this. Now with this movie, it's basically about the guy that made the atomic bomb. Have you ever wanted to get a movie about him? Probably not, because I've never thought about it. But the reason the movie is going to be good is because, A, Christopher Nolan is directing it. For all of you who don't know who Christopher Nolan is, I know you know what some of his movies are. He directed the Dark Knight trilogy, Memento, Inception. What else did Christopher Nolan do that I know you guys know? Just a ton of movies. Like he's like those mind fuck movies, not to cuss, but I couldn't think of anything of those, but those mind movies that just trip you out and just have you thinking for 20 minutes after you watch them. That's what Christopher Nolan does. So, and the way he works time with his movies, and just he doesn't use CGI. He's just the real deal of a director. He's like upper echelon. So any movie, it doesn't really matter what it's going to be from him. You're going to watch it. And then you got Cillian Murphy as the main actor. Again, if you don't know who Cillian Murphy is, Peaky Blinders. He was Scarecrow in the Batman movies. He's done a couple Christopher Nolan movies before, but he's one of those actors that's such a good actor. I forget sometimes that he's a real person. Like the first time, it was like Franklin Saint. Like the first time I heard him speak for real, like in an interview, I was like, it just made me feel weird. I was like, dang, I only see you as the characters you play. So you have Christopher Nolan, one of the best directors. He's probably my top 3 directors, one of the best directors I'd say of like the last 20 years, and I can stand on that saying that. Then you have Cillian Murphy, who's obviously a brilliant actor, but who's never probably been in like a big, huge blockbuster like this, getting this opportunity. The pairing is going to be amazing. The movie is going to be great. If you don't care about knowing about who made the atomic bomb, go watch the movie still if you like good movies, because you're going to be entertained. Now, from what I've heard about the movie, and I may do like some type of GS Studios like movie review or something about it, because I'm so interested about the story from just reading more about being excited for the movie. The story of how he made that shit is crazy. But again, even if you're not interested in it, because I wasn't at first, just respect the fact that it's Christopher Nolan directing it. Even if you don't even want to respect Cillian Murphy, respect Christopher Nolan. That is going to be a great movie. But the thing about that, as good as that movie is going to be, I think that may be a double feature Friday, because on July 21st, that same day, Barbie comes out. And I know when I say this, just bear with me. I only have a minute left in this topic, and I'm going to move on. I'm holding myself to a standard with Garrenteed News now, by the way. So we're going to keep it under 20 minutes. But every single thing I see about Barbie, I thought when I first heard about it, it was going to be terrible. Now I'm seeing trailers. I'm seeing people talk about it. I'm reading about like just how the set was, how the movie went, what are people saying about it early. And I think Barbie's going to be really good. I think Barbie's going to be really good. I think it's going to be one of those things that a lot of people are going to go see immediately, but the second and third week of it, it's going to have like a big, heavy amount of people watching it. I almost had to run into a pause, because it looks like they didn't take themselves too seriously, and it looks like a movie that's going to actually be funny with good acting, like who can I think of? And I can't think of the main actress that's gonna be in Barbie. I'm going a little bit over, but you guys are cool. You guys are cool. You can wait with me. Barbie main characters or cast. Let me do this real quick and then I'm moving on. Margaret Robbie. Uh, if you don't know who she is, again, she's in Wolf of Wall Street. She's in Suicide Squad. She's I can't even think of the character, but you know who I'm thinking of. Like, she's a good actress, and her playing Barbie, I can actually see it really well. I feel like it could be like a little bit like not as like adult, but on the Wolf of Wall Street character side. So I'm really excited to see Barbie. I can't lie. At first I wasn't, but as someone that just likes good movies, I think Barbie may be good, and it may not take itself too seriously again and just be funny. But yeah, I just wanted to talk about probably two of the best movies we're going to get this year. You're going to hear me talking about reviews with them. Oppenheimer, July 21st. You have to go see it. I know you do. Barbie, if you want to have a double feature and see two movies at one time or in one day, this may be a good time to do it. Let's move on to our next story. All right, our next story is going to be the only real news or serious news of the day. But it's going to be one of the themes that I've been talking about since Garrenteed News started about 3 weeks ago. There's a story with this every week. The weather. Every week there's something about some crazy weather phenomenon. This is the first this is happening and ever, blah, blah, blah. And we got our one from this week very early. But last week I want to just talk about what was going on with that because I didn't speak on it, I don't think. We had the hottest day recorded since they started doing it on July 4th. Then the next day we beat it. Then you had all of the heat advisories, like 9 million people under a heat advisory in Texas. Some people died due to heat-related complications. Some people, or a lot of people, were in the hospital in Texas due to heat-related complications. It was just insane. And then also last week with that same thing, speaking of the earth and everything getting hotter, the actual ocean itself is heating up as well, which makes sense when you think about it all. But the ocean heating up is, of course, in turn making the earth heat up even more outside of all the other things that are causing it to heat up. And then it's affecting the marine life in the ocean. And there's some conspiracy theories about what could be going on with certain things where it is getting hotter in the oceans and it could be affecting a marine life. I'm not going to talk about those on Garrenteed News because I don't know if they're facts. That's something for a different show. But that was last week's crazy weather story that just makes you scared. And then this week we got it early, like I said. New York, parts of just the Northeast completely. Vermont, let me look at this. I have this article pulled up. New York, Vermont, Massachusetts, Maine. They dealt with a crazy amount of rain on Sunday morning or Sunday and Monday. New York got 7.5 inches of rainfall in 6 hours on Sunday afternoon. It was so bad. A person died due to the flooding. Multiple people had to be rescued by boat. So much rain that you're like flooding. When I hear about these weather stories, because I live in the middle of the country in the Midwest, it's hard for me to picture. Like the whole thing with the smoke even would have been hard for me to picture if it wasn't happening. Like crazy weather shit doesn't happen in the Midwest. So when I hear these things, reading them, because with Garrenteed News, I just am more aware of the news I read and what I watch, so I just have to keep up with it. Every week, again, there's something crazy with the weather, and it just makes me think like, what the hell is going on? Like, and again, every time I read these articles, there's always stuff at the end of scientists and people way smarter than me saying, hey, let's do these things to stop this climate change that is happening, like fossil fuels, emissions, all this. Like, let's put money into not doing that. Damn, what the hell? Let's put money into not doing that. And the people who have the money and the power to make these changes, are they doing them? I don't know. But it's a theme of Garrenteed News. I think that it's going to be every week there's going to be a crazy news story that I have to come and talk about. Because I feel like it's crazy to not be aware of the fact that climate change is really happening and the weather on Earth is really changing in front of our eyes. And every week we see something that's talking about it. So I'm going to keep talking about it because you need to know, and it's crazy. Let's move on. The rest of the story is going to be goofy. For this next story, I really just want to talk a whole bunch of nonsense, but I'm still going to say it. Well, when I say nonsense, I mean it's nonsense news. It's nothing that you should care about or really need to know about, but I'm going to talk about it because it's entertaining, and I'm sure you'll be entertained by it. But with some topics with covering anything, I don't know how I'm going to say it or how I'm going to say how I'm thinking. And sometimes I do hold back what I'm thinking for Garrenteed News and because I want this to be a quick and easy show, and I don't think I have the time to just like really, really talk my shit how I want. So with the Usher situation last week with Usher and Keke Palmer, I really just said like the bare minimum of like how I felt, but I didn't get into it too much. But I think what happened with an update with that is a better way of explaining maybe how I felt, but I didn't want to just say out loud. So over the weekend, and I didn't even think about this before, but the Usher, he has a residency in Vegas. So that's why he's performing. That's why we see these videos of him every week. He has a residency in Vegas. When you watched me last week, you probably already knew that. I just didn't. In case you didn't, now you do. So this week we saw multiple videos of Usher doing the same thing he did, but it turned out differently. The first was Sweetie. It was basically just her singing. It was like I'm a fan of Usher and I'm singing the song. And the second, which was even bigger of a thing as far as just a situation, was Kyle Kuzma's wife when Usher came around, and she got up and sat on Kyle Kuzma and was like, "Nah, I'm good." And even in that video, you could see him. He was like, "Oh, she's choosing," which me, when I heard that immediately, I'm not gonna get into that much. I'm like, that's how I know he know what he be doing. You could hear him say, "Oh, she's choosing," and he said, "All right, I'm gonna let her choose," and walked away. But with that, all I'm gonna say with that situation, look what look what Sweetie did as an example of how you can be a fan of someone but not do too much. Be a fan and show that you're a fan and have a good time, and how it could be something other than that. I won't say, and not that there's anything wrong with it, I'm not saying there's anything, but I'm just saying you can see the difference in just that. Then you see with Kyle Kuzma's wife, whether it's because he just got that new contract, whether because of their conversations or their relationship or the respect or just knowing whatever it is with their relationship that caused her to do what she did, she said, "I'm not playing with him like that." And you see the very, very big difference in the two things. And I think seeing this only goes to show me that, okay, Usher, I still believe he's the villain and he knows what he be doing. Of course he's not the villain, I'm just joking, but like he's the one starting this and he know what he be doing. But it also shows me like, girls know, like they know when they're good, when they're going overboard. And Keke Palmer, she knew she was doing that and she wanted to do it because for whatever reason, she just wanted to do it. And there's nothing wrong with that. All I'm saying is take notice of, it's not like Keke Palmer didn't know she was on that. And I feel like I don't even want to talk about this even more, but I'm just saying, take a look at the difference of what Kyle Kuzma's girl did. And it was a difference because he was right there. But I think the way she acted sitting on his lap, even if she wasn't there, she still would have done something to show, hey, I'm not playing like that. Keke Palmer, for whatever reason, she decided to do that because she wanted to do that, and there's nothing wrong. All I'm saying is notice the difference. Notice the difference between the two. I stand by the fact that Keke Palmer, if she wanted to do that, of course she can do that. Duh. All I'm saying is she kind of fanned out a little hard, and I think she knew she fanned out a little hard and didn't care what she said. This is Usher. I'm going to fan out hard, and if that's how you want to be, there's certain if I got on stage, and you feel me, I was strapped to the chair, I don't want to get myself in. The right person does it, I'm doing the right thing. I'm getting into like a word vomit now, but all I want to say to end this is, look at the difference. Keke Palmer knew what she was doing, and she made that decision beforehand. Bro, whatever their relationship is, she said, in our relationship, this is what's going to happen. Kyle Kuzma, with her in their relationship, she said, this is what's not going to happen. And I just want to bring awareness to the fact that was interesting. Interesting update with that. I may watch this over and at the end be like, damn, I maybe said too much, but I already recorded it. Who cares? Last story of the day. Let's get into it. A little bit of sports. All right. For this last story, the last official story, I just want to talk a little bit about Victor Wembanyama and the busy weekend he had this weekend all across the NBA. So first, I'm going to talk about the Britney Spears slap because I think it's not a big deal to me, but it happened and I should cover it. From the video, it looked like Britney Spears was just tapping him. She definitely didn't grab him, okay. It looked like she was just tapping him, and she probably just looked like a normal or just an average white girl. They didn't know. Security and Victor, he's French, didn't know it was Britney Spears. It looked like guy went back just to swap her arm or swap her hand and hit her face. Unfortunate, not surprising that happened. It seems like a reasonable mistake. Big deal. I'm just mentioning it because I don't know if Victor Wembanyama was supposed to do anything different. Who cares? She was trying to do too much and she got slapped on accident. I do feel bad for that, and I do like Britney Spears, but that's not news to me. I'm just mentioning it because I feel like I have to. But the main point of this story is that I just want to say, this is basketball or not. I feel like this with all rookies. Like when you're no matter how big of a rookie you are, or how anticipated you are to play, you're a rookie. I feel like you have to be given the space to mess up, to be good. That first game, Wembanyama had 9 points. Then he came back and had like 29 points. The only thing I want to say with that is, I think Victor Wembanyama is going to be a really good NBA player, but with all the hype and all the expectations, no matter how he played, it was going to be people that are going to say, oh my God, what happened? Now, his first game was a little bit worse than probably expected, but like, I knew there's no way he was going to live up to those expectations. And even just hearing all the all the NBA player, like real NBA players, and hearing like Draymond and them speak about it, or hearing people that I know play basketball speaking on it, like I could see how Wembanyama could have a little bit of he's gonna have to learn the NBA. It's a different league. Like he's just tall as hell with great skill, but he's small as hell. Pause. So I could see how it would be hard for him, how it'd be easier for people to just big dog him. But you can also see where he has a skill where he's gonna learn. Just give him the time to learn. I mean, that's the whole thing with this, where I just want to say, like, all the conversation of like, how good is he, or is he going to be a bust? A, it's too early to tell. B, he won't be a bust. But C, he's not going to be this all-star, come right into the league, amazing player. I don't think he's going to be that. And all the people saying he was as big as like a prospect as Bron, I don't think that's that either. I think people were just saying that on sports media because it was entertaining to say. But he's going to be a very, very good player. He has the opportunity to win championships, but he's going to have to grow and develop. I feel like with rookies, that's like the easy thing to say. Like, it's obvious, but like a lot of times with them, like, of course, the number one, number two, like first couple of picks in any league, it's going to be a lot that comes with that. But come on, bro. One bad game, one good game. I feel like he's doing what a rookie should be doing. A rookie star should be doing. And I think Wembanyama is going to develop just fine in the league. And Garrenteed news, like I said earlier, this show, we're going to be watching a lot more NBA. So I'm going to be able to cover Victor Wembanyama, and I'm going to see his rookie season, and there's going to be coverage on that when the NBA season comes back around. You're going to be able to watch Garrenteed news for anything you want to know. Trust in that. But that is the episode of Garrenteed news for July 10th. Almost dropped that over. I want to end the show with just a shout out to my brother, to KJ, to Diamond, Wes, everybody involved with everything that happened this weekend on Sunday with Artway, with Seven House. If you're from Indianapolis and you didn't go, I'm sure you heard about it. If you're from Indianapolis and you went, just the event itself is just really beautiful to see. And it's my brother, so I'm going to be biased, but just the way he bring the city out, like, I wish I was like, I'm about to start streaming so I can talk my shit more, but like the way he had them out. But then he had the people that wanted to go and see art. Everybody was fresh. Everybody was happy, excited. There wasn't no problems. Like, like being from Indianapolis, we can't even go to Broad Ripple past 1 o'clock now because everywhere you go, there's a problem. And there's only 2 places to go to Indianapolis. So I feel like with here specifically, whenever there's an event where people are able to go, have a good time, the music was good. I always hate when DJs play a whole bunch of old songs. This DJ was playing music that was actually coming out with old music. I love the DJ. I love the event. You could make your own shirt. There was massages that you could get, free massages. Like art, of course, like with every art way, you're going to see art, and all the artists did a beautiful job. All the art looked amazing. Just good events when you go to them and you just see people looking good, skin glowing, happy, excited, just love in the air from everyone, and just peace of happiness. Like, you just gotta love to see it. And every time Artway, Seven House, they do an event, they do that. But this one was just a little bit different because overall, I feel like it was just because it's my brother and I see it so much. Like all through the years, I've seen how it's grown, and it gets better every time. And this one was just like a culmination of all I've seen them do. And this was the one for me. It's the best they've done. And I just want to give a round of applause to them. And thank you for bringing the city out. Thank you for just giving an event where people can come and have a good time and be safe and not have to worry about just a whole bunch of bullshit. Shout out to Artway. Shout out to Seven House. anytime you see an event by them, go and get a ticket because they're going to sell out and it's going to be entertaining. Shout out to them again. That's a wrap for this episode of Garrenteed News. I'll see you guys real soon. That's it.